Hey guys, if you're watching this and you haven't seen the first reptile room tour that I've done, the intro to this is going to be a little confusing, so I recommend watching the reptile room part 1, which I will leave right there. Just watch, it's a 17-minute video, there's some cool stuff on it, and then come on back and watch part 2. Alright, let's get the video started. This wraps up this room here. We'll start making our way down to the living room and kitchen where you guys will be seeing some of my bearded dragons, dogs, cats, some of my small animals like my rats. Then we'll go into the living room to check out those exotic birds and finally make our way into the breeding facility. Then making our way into the living room, we got a few more guys to talk about. Just real quick, obviously we have Marbles right here, just, being on the table like a bad kitty. Gosh, cats, am I right? I guess first we'll come over to the left of me because I guess we got some sleepy boys going on, but real quick, right here we did actually end up moving the what's supposed to be the dark frog enclosure, but I just haven't gotten into making it yet. Obviously I'm making this video and a few others, and this has just been left on hold, but eventually dark frogs will be in here. It's just a matter of time. And right over here we have some dogs. Of course we have still 3 dogs. I think we're kind of capping it at 3, although I actually think we are getting another dog here for another reason, a bit of a rescue, another rescue situation. But we got our 3 dogs here. This little wiener dog right here is Mr. Charles. Then we have Major, the newest guy that's living with me, although I've known him since I was just a little kid. And then right over here we have the oldest boy, which is Leo. Leo is a husky mix. I believe he's husky Eskimo, but we're not entirely sure yet. We don't really care, he's a husky mix, he's a big fluffy dog. What more could you love? Then over here, of course, Major is a German Shepherd. Major is actually my family pet. I've had him since I was, so from 24, I think I was like 14, maybe a little older than 14, 15, 16, I don't know, math. But we have our German Shepherd here. He came to me just a little bit ago. He had some problems with the house. He was in a bit of a marking war between him and the golden retriever that also lives there, so eventually, I just had him come over here. It's just easier. And then right here we have a little hot dog. This hot dog is named Charlie. He's very fresh, as you can see. He's a fresh boy. Charlie is a Dachshund Chihuahua mix, very cute. Also a bit of a, actually, well, really all these dogs are rescue situations. Actually, really anything that isn't a reptile here is basically a rescue. Same with the Marbles, which we'll get into right now. Damn, I feel like Trisha Paytas right now. What the fuck? Then right here, we have Marbles, the special kitty. Marbles is also a rescue situation. She was just about to be put down due to her neurological issues, but luckily my wife was vet teching there at the time and took her home instead, so we have this little kitty. Like I said, Marbles has severe neurological issues. She does not act like a cat in any way, shape, or form. She's a very strange kitty. And she does suffer from seizures from time to time, so every now and then she'll get a seizure, which is pretty sad, but all in all, she's a pretty happy kitty. We just let her, roam around, do whatever she wants. No one bothers her. She really has. This is the queen of the land. I mean, this cat really just does whatever she wants. Then coming down into the living room, we have 2 bearded dragons. Of course, this is Toad, my wife's bearded dragon, and then Rex, my bearded dragon. Of course, Rex is still living in that AP cage, the 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. Please don't mind the walls. This is a very bad living room. We will be painting soon. It'll look a lot nicer, but it's bad. Yes, Rex is still in that 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot AP cage. I believe it's the T25. I want to say either T20 or T25. I bought 2 at the same time, but still with that custom ink background, all bioactive. The plants are, however, not doing that well through brumation. I found it difficult to water without raising the humidity too high, so I just ended up letting the plants go instead of, risking anything while Rex was under. But, oh well. Rex is doing great. She's finally woken up. I don't know why, but all of my reptiles brumate forever. Toad, my wife's bearded dragon, he was awake and after 3-4 weeks, but I mean he did oh my god, it was 6 or 8 weeks. It was forever. But yeah, just some 2 awesome little beardies. Probably the only 2 beardies I'll ever have, to be honest. I'll always love Rex, but bearded dragons, man, they are a bit of a handful as far as care goes, and it's definitely not something that I don't know. I've had people ask about breeding projects with bearded dragons. It's just not something I'm interested in. Plus the market's so oversaturated that I don't know. There's no need. And that's pretty much the this room. So let's go over to the bird room. Oh wait, what's this? First we gotta talk about some rats. Yes, we have rats over here. We have 4 different rats. This one right here is Ube. He is one of the first rats we got, and he's so cute. He is my favorite out of all of them. Then we also have Bjorn up top, and then at the bottom we have Vitsvuk and Floki. They are all named after Viking characters, just because Viking's cool, and we got rats right when we were watching it, so, you know, it worked. But yeah, rats, man. Rats are cool. I like rats. These are the only small animals we have here at DBCB Exotic, as far as, you know, not reptiles go, or, you know, birds or parrots. They're just little rats. My wife's always owned rats for years and years, so she wanted to get some more. I've had rats only for a couple years. We had a couple females for a few years before they inevitably passed, because unfortunately, although as adorable as these guys are, they just don't live very long. Usually the lifespan of a rat is about it's 18 months to 2 years is usually, he's just going all over the place here, bud. It's usually 18 months to 2 years, but, you know, sorry, the video cut out there. I don't really make videos this long. I haven't made one this long before. But yep, although super cuddable and adorable, this is actually one of our younger males here. So cute. Unfortunately, they just don't have a long lifespan, but even then, you know, after caring for, you know, reptiles that live, and parrots that live anywhere from 20 to 60 years, it is nice to have just a little rat to spend just a couple years with. But I think that's enough for the rats. You know, just want to show them off real quick. I don't really post much about my, oh no, he's got my finger. I don't really post too much about my rats or any other of my animals besides the reptiles, just because, you know, this is a reptile channel. I don't know how that would bode for the people that subscribe to me. But let's move on from the rats to, of course, my exotic birds. And here we are, the bird room. We currently have 3 birds in here, and we'll probably never get any more. I mean, as much as I love my birds, they are the biggest handful for me. So right here, of course, we have the, well, I guess I'll show him off because he wants to show off. We have the blue and gold macaw over there. Over here, you can see the African gray, and in that case, we have the Myers parrot. The Myers parrot is not social in any way. This is a big, long, sad rescue story with her, but she's more of a, we just keep her here to keep her comfortable as she, yeah, well, she's an old bird. I guess since Dante's being kind of shy, I mean, jeez, bud. Just hiding over there. I guess he's scared of the camera. We'll talk about Annabelle first. So I'll just come right over here. Come here, sweetie. This is Annabelle. Annabelle was the first bird I've ever gotten. She's very cute, as you can see. I've had Annabelle for about 3 years, I believe. I've had her for 3 years. She came to me a completely naked bird. She does have plucking issues. You guys see some of her feathers. Well, you know, most of her feathers are actually not there, but I still love her all the same. She is my sweetie. She is my favorite animal here. She's such a little sweetheart. She's trying to mate with me. It is mating season right now. So Dante is going on his cage. Come here, step up. Oh gosh. And as you can see, much like most greys, or most birds from Africa, she's a very dusty bird. She probably needs another bath. She usually gets a bath at least once a week, just because she produces so much dust. She's a very dusty bird, and of course with the macaw being from another region, he can develop some allergies and is pretty sensitive to a lot of danger, so we do have an air filter in here, and then also we like to bathe her to make sure to keep the dust, you know, as low as possible. Over here we have Dante being a brat as always. Come here. Step up. Come on. No. Step up. Come on. Good bird. Yeah. Dante's a bit of a brat. He's the newest bird here, so he's only been here for about a year. He was abused for 5 years, so don't get my buttons. He loves the buttons. Don't get my buttons. Don't do it. He was abused for 5 years of his life, starting from his baby to now, what he is now. I believe he's around 6 or 7, so he's not very good with human contact, doesn't really like being pet, so, you know, is what it is. He'll come around eventually. It's just going to take time for him to adjust to, you know, the new habituation of him having owners that, you know, don't beat him up, I guess. He is just gorgeous with these blues and yellows. Dante is a serious bird. If anyone's ever thinking about rescuing, I don't recommend rescuing a macaw unless you have experience. I worked with and hand-raised birds for a solid year and a half, 2 years, and I think within the first year, or no, it was after, yeah, so I had about a year and a half to 2 years of training, and then I left, and then I actually came back, and that's where I found him. There was a bit, you know, there's a whole story. I might make a separate, don't get my buttons. I might do a whole separate video on the macaws, or, you know, all my rescue birds, but this arm's getting a little tired, so we'll put him up. He is a heavy bird. But Dante is no joke. He has taken, I believe, quite a few chunks of skin, right, bud? I think I have 5 or 6 different scars from him, running from my arms, hands, stomach. My tattoos are like missing ink because his beak goes so deep. This is not a bird for a beginner. This bird requires a lot of respect and can pack a lot of damage. Hi. Oh, look who's being good. See, he's good when things scare him, right? He's like, Dad, I'm scared. But when nothing's here, he's like, go away, I don't like you, right? Good. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? You trying to break my jacket? I like this jacket. No, I like this jacket. Did you hear a bark? Honestly, I mean, to be honest, bird owning in general is a bit of its own. I mean, these guys they make quite the mess. I have to clean in here pretty much every other day, change papers every other day. Ooh. Change papers every other day, and, you know, just take care of these guys. Birds require a lot of mental stimulation. Out in the wild, they are in flocks, so you can do it either way, where you can keep multiple birds together. It's a bit of a, I don't really recommend it if you don't really know, you know, what you're doing, much like cohabiting reptiles, but that's a little different than cohabiting reptiles. But as far as that goes, birds usually, well, kind of attach themselves to one person. Some birds are a little better at it. My gray is one of those birds that just, Hi. My gray is one of those birds that just really attaches to one person. She's my bird. She doesn't really like my wife too much. She doesn't really like anyone too much except for me. I will bite, make people bleed. She's gotten a lot better with my wife now. You know, we're living together and she sees her every day, but as far as, she's definitely my bird. She loves being near me, whereas Dante, although, you know, I have spent so much money on rescuing this bird and giving him everything he needs and training with him for months to get him to the fact where you can do stuff like step up. You couldn't do this before. I mean, he would literally just go after you. He's come a long way, but unfortunately, he has attached himself to my wife. So he loves my wife and doesn't really like me too much. So it was really awesome for, you know, those 3 months and all the money I spent for him to be like, hey, I don't like you too much. Either way, man, I just love these birds. I mean, they're just so cool. What are you doing? Why don't you like my hood? Why do you like it? But yeah, as far as birds go, they need a lot of mental stimulation. Hours, really. I mean, with birds, there's no limit of how much you should spend with them. They need a lot of interaction because they do bond with you and you're kind of their flock when you do end up bringing a bird into captivity. So a lot of mental stimulation, a lot of activities, especially when you get into smarter birds. You know, I'm not talking like cockatiels or conures, but stuff like the African gray and the blue and gold macaw that can get, you know, very destructive if they're left to their own devices. I mean, I have chunks, I'll show you some B-roll. I have chunks of my wall missing, my door frame's missing, just because, you know, sometimes I step out for a few and he's outside and he's like, I'm bored, let me destroy stuff. Because that's really all birds want to do, right? They just want to destroy stuff. But yeah, to wrap it up, birds, amazing animals if you're willing to dedicate the time and energy and funds, because these are not cheap animals. They cost me a lot more than my reptiles do. I'm pretty sure these birds actually cost me as much as funding my entire collection at the moment. They are a very expensive animal, but worth it just to experience the personality of, you know, like a blue and gold or an African gray. And you can teach them tricks like, what's this? What is it? What is it? Cracker. Oh, good boy. Yeah. See, teach him cracker. I don't know. But alright, I think that's enough of the birds. I think I've babbled on enough. You know, we'll get a little more screen time for Annabelle because she didn't get any because you're over here by the window and it creates a very bad backdrop. So I have to angle the camera weird or else you can't see us. At this point, we'll be moving over to the last area with my reptiles. I believe there's 8 or 7 more reptiles to go through, or animals to go through, and that is in my breeding facility. Right now, there usually is a lot more animals in there, but due to it being winter, the electricity was very high, so I ended up moving stuff back here. I have no idea why the electricity is way higher in that building versus in my own house, but we'll leave it as is. All right, Annabelle, say bye. Oh, say bye. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Dakota, this isn't the breeding facility. This is just post-editing Dakota again. Yeah, we're gonna make a part 3. I figured it would have been a little weird making this a 2-part series and one being 17 minutes and then one still being like half an hour long, so I decided that I'm going to split this up into a 3-part series. The part 1, the part 2 that you just watched, and then part 3, the actual reptile facility. I'll go wicked in depth on what the facility looks like, because to be honest, I don't think I've really shown it off, snippets here and there, but I'll actually do a full tour of what the facility looks like. I'm thinking if we get 150 likes in this video, because last time we got 100 in less than a week, so I'm going to bump it up a little higher. I feel like we can do it. 150 likes, and I'll do a full tour on the reptile breeding facility. So before you end this video, let's make sure we hit that like button right down there. While you're down there, if you're not subscribed already, you want to make sure you get notified when the breeding facility video gets out, so might as well hit that subscribe button while you're there, guys. Alright, as always, I'm going to plug my other stuff. If you want to see some more of my animals or breeding products, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at DBCB Exotics. And, of course, we have the Herp Hour. The Herp Hour on Twitch. It is the podcast that I do with Professor Herp. We are about to be doing a podcast with Neptune the Chameleon. It's a nice chameleon channel. I'm really looking forward to it. That's going to be on Saturday the 18th at 5 p.m. So make sure you head over to twitch.com, the Herp Hour. I will leave a link in the description, and give us a follow, guys. We're trying to get affiliated on there, and we can't do it unless we guys have your support, watching the content, following us. I'm really hoping that the podcast turns out. So if you guys have seen some of the podcasts, or you just like reptile podcasts, make sure to head over to the Herp Hour on Twitch. Alright, that's it. Post-editing Dakota's out of here. I will see you next time.